I'd like to start the session by just asking David to talk a little bit about his career with Formula One and his new alliance with Jetbull.
Thanks. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for the introduction. For those of you who have followed Formula One, and I always think it's a big presumption that everybody does, and an even bigger presumption that anyone would know who I was. Drivers obviously spend their career with the helmet covering their face. So for those of you who followed it with a passing interest, then this is probably the first time you're getting to see me without my helmet. My first visit here to the iGaming, obviously you mentioned I have a new association with Jetbull. I'm a novice when it comes to the online gaming industry, but very much enjoying having the opportunity to see around here and get to meet some people within the industry. And obviously, like Formula One, it's a huge industry with a global reach and a very big market. So that's something that, as in my sporting career, I've traveled the world like a high-speed advertising board, I guess you could call a Formula One car, and gone to many continents. I find it interesting that as we speak, the American market's not open to you as yet, which has obviously got huge potential, and for the Formula One industry as well. We've tried and failed to open that as a market. And we're trying again to get back into the US market. So it's obviously got different rules and regulations to what we experience here in Europe. My first awareness really of sports betting, other than obviously as like most of us growing up being aware of the local bookies on the street corner, was an event, Australian Grand Prix in 1998, where I realised that to the detriment of my image at the time, I changed places with my teammate to allow him to win the Grand Prix, and it was the first time I was aware of the fact that there were so many people betting on a number of different sports, including motor racing. Obviously people were up in arms as to how you could change the result and the outcome of the event in the closing stages. And I guess that's, as you're all very aware, one of the big challenges that you have in the industry to show that everything is open, everything is fair, everything is clean. And again, with electronic and online gaming, it's one of the big challenges that you have to show that when people are trusting in the site and filling in their information, that they're going to be playing in a fair environment. So that experience back then, more than 12 years ago, gave me an insight to just the marketplace. Obviously, you're all very familiar with just how enthusiastic people are to bet on all sorts of weird and wonderful things. I think that sports betting is obviously very firmly established. It's a huge part of our lives, and unless someone is to cut the connection on the internet, then it's only going to grow and grow, which is great news for all of you, and great news for the customers. So I'm looking forward to increasing my knowledge of online gaming, obviously with Jetbull, the association there, coming back to what I said earlier about building trust and believing in the integrity of the sites and the people involved. The reason why I'm involved with Jetbull is I have a 15-year association with one of the employees of that company, and that gave me the insight and the knowledge to really get an understanding of how it operates and the security that's afforded to the actual customers that you have. So it's one of the big challenges you have in the market, but it's one of the things that through I think more public awareness, more promotion, we can strengthen the confidence for the consumer. And I'm sure you're all working with that challenge on a daily basis.
You have obviously the sponsorships through F1 and the personal endorsements. Why hasn't Formula One seen more online gaming sponsorship, in your opinion?
Well, I think that it's to do with the cost profile of Formula One. There's obviously many sports that are open to companies to brand and have the association. I think that, again, those of you who are familiar with the Formula One world, there's the commercial rights holder is someone called Bernie Ecclestone, and he's a great example that dictatorships in certain cases can work because he's controlled very well and very tightly the access to Formula One. And electronic media is something that anyone who's putting any reference to Formula One, any video clips that's not sanctioned by FOM, which is his management company, they're hit straight away on that day and it's removed. So he keeps a very exclusive club, and that keeps the rate card very high. Because you can go two ways. Obviously, you can make it something which is open to all, which I presume very much is the target for everyone here at this conference, is to try and reach every single person who is interested in online gaming. Whereas with the way that Mr. Ecclestone controls Formula One is he restricts access as much as possible, and it's that classic scenario. It's human nature. If you're not allowed in, you want to sort of fight just to get in there. You find out that once you're in, it's probably not any better than any other sports event. But the big thing with Formula One that keeps it interesting, I think, to the large sponsors is the fact that it's a truly global sport, and that the reach it has through television and internet and all of the electronic media that's available means that you get a very global return on your investment. So that's one of the big strengths, I think, in Formula One.
Yeah, just in terms of the business of F1, obviously it's gone through a lot of changes, some unsavoury events of the last couple of years. But just talk us through what your opinion of F1 as a business at the moment. We've got a lot of new teams this season, a lot of new changes to regulations last season. How has that sort of shaped things up within it?
Well, again, Formula One I don't think is any different to any other business. And again, using an example obviously from here, I'm sure a few of you have seen companies come and go in the last few years that have come with big ideas, lots of enthusiasm, but their strategy just hasn't worked in the marketplace, and the consumer hasn't responded, and ultimately you don't have a business. And likewise in Formula One, you've obviously got your key companies that have been around for decades. Ferrari is one of the oldest. They've been in the Formula One World Championship for 60 years. And during those 60 years of competition, there's been many teams that have come and gone. Again, this year we have 3 new teams in Formula One. One called HRT, which is a little bit unfortunate because I think it stands for hormone replacement therapy. So that hadn't really been thought out well when they named that team. We have Virgin, which at the moment appropriately can't go the distance because their fuel tank is too small. So they've made a bit of a fundamental error designing a car that can't make it to the checkered flag. And probably the most successful of the teams out there of the new teams is Lotus, which it's assumed the classic name from the past, but obviously, and it's still based in Norfolk, but of course it's a completely new funding and new group of people. But the big challenge for those guys, of course, is to come into the industry with not the same level of technical knowledge and expertise, without the same level of funding, and to attract the right people to have the investment to grow ultimately. And the early years, as probably most of you in here know, of any new business are the most difficult, because you've got the need for cash flow, the need to attract your customers and the interest, but you need results to sustain. And the big difficulty for these new teams in sport is that how can they possibly compete with a Ferrari or a McLaren, or in the case of the leading team at the moment is Red Bull, how can they possibly compete in the short term? Because one of the wonderful things I've always enjoyed about Formula One as a sport is that it's technology driven. But of course the technology doesn't develop itself. It's the great news for all of us is that the human race, we won't go out of fashion. We need the people to come with the ideas. We need the people to develop that new technology.